It was December 4th, 1872. A British ship called the Dei Gratia was sailing through the Atlantic Ocean when its crew spotted something strange in the distance. Another vessel, drifting, slowly, with no one steering it. When they boarded, what they found sent chills down their spines. The food was still on the table. The cargo was untouched. The captain's logbook was open. The crew's personal belongings, their clothes, their money, their pipes, all still there. But the 10 people who had been on board, gone, completely. Without a single trace, no bodies, no blood, no distress signal, no explanation. This was the Mary Celeste, and over 150 years later, nobody has ever been able to fully explain what happened that day. This is the story of the most baffling maritime mystery in human history. The Mary Celeste was an American merchant brigantine, a type of two-masted sailing ship built in 1861 in Nova Scotia, Canada. By 1872, it had already had a troubled history. Multiple owners, minor accidents, and a reputation among sailors as an unlucky ship. But on November 7th, 1872, none of that seemed to matter. The ship departed from New York Harbor, carrying 1,700 barrels of industrial alcohol bound for Genoa, Italy. On board were 10 souls. Captain Benjamin Briggs, a highly experienced and deeply respected sailor. His wife, Sarah, their 2-year-old daughter, Sophia, and a crew of 7 experienced seamen. By all accounts, it was a routine voyage. The weather was fair. The ship was well stocked. Captain Briggs had written a cheerful letter to his mother just before departure, saying, and I quote, "We are all well and in good spirits." Nobody on that dock in New York could have imagined they would never see any of them again. On December 4th, the British ship Dei Gratia was sailing roughly 600 miles off the coast of Portugal when its crew noticed something odd. A ship ahead of them was moving erratically, yawing side to side, with no one at the helm. Captain David Morehouse recognized it immediately. It was the Mary Celeste. He actually knew Captain Briggs personally. They had dined together just weeks earlier in New York. He sent 3 of his men over to investigate. What they found was deeply unsettling. The ship was structurally sound. No damage, no fire, no signs of a storm. The cargo was almost entirely intact. The ship's navigation equipment was still there, but the lifeboat was gone. The last entry in the ship's log was dated November 25th, 9 days before the discovery. It recorded nothing unusual, just a routine position update near the Azores Islands. The crew's belongings were untouched, clothes folded neatly, valuables left behind, a child's toy still sitting in the cabin. Most chilling of all, there was food being prepared in the galley, as if the crew had simply stood up mid-meal and walked off the edge of the earth. When the Dei Gratia brought the Mary Celeste into Gibraltar, a formal investigation was launched, and immediately things got complicated. The investigating Attorney General, a man named Frederick Solly Flood, became convinced that something sinister had happened. He suspected the crew of the Dei Gratia had murdered everyone on board and invented the ghost ship story to claim the salvage reward. But there was zero evidence of violence. No blood, no signs of struggle, no weapons, nothing. After months of investigation, the crew of the Dei Gratia was cleared, though they received a surprisingly small salvage payment, suggesting the authorities never fully trusted their story. The mystery only deepened. Where were the 10 people? What made them abandon a perfectly seaworthy ship? Why did they leave in such apparent haste that they left behind their valuables, their food, and even the child's belongings? No one could answer these questions, and they still can't. Over the past 150 years, dozens of theories have been proposed, some rational, some disturbing, some completely outlandish. Let's go through the most credible ones. Theory 1. Alcohol fumes and panic. 9 of the 1,700 barrels of alcohol were found empty when the ship was boarded. Some researchers believe the cheap industrial alcohol may have produced vapor that seeped out and caused a small explosion. Not enough to damage the ship, but enough to terrify the crew into thinking the whole vessel was about to blow up. Captain Briggs may have ordered everyone into the lifeboat as a precaution, intending to wait and then reboard. But a sudden gust of wind could have separated the lifeboat from the ship, leaving them stranded in the middle of the Atlantic with no way back. This is currently the most widely accepted theory among historians. Theory 2. Waterspout. A waterspout is essentially a tornado over water. Witnesses in the Azores region reported unusual weather around that time. A waterspout could have caused a sudden and terrifying disturbance, convincing the crew to abandon ship immediately. But again, the question remains, why was the ship undamaged? Theory 3. Mutiny. Some have suggested the crew mutinied, killed the officers, and then escaped. But this doesn't explain the complete absence of blood, the untouched valuables, or what happened to the mutineers themselves. Theory 4. Piracy. Pirates could have boarded, taken the crew hostage, and disappeared. But the cargo, which was the most valuable thing on board, was left completely untouched. No pirate would do that. And then there are the darker theories. Paranormal investigators have long pointed to this case as evidence of strange forces at sea. Some have claimed sea monsters, alien abduction, or a portal to another dimension. These theories have no evidence, but they've made the Mary Celeste a pop culture legend for over a century. Arthur Conan Doyle, the creator of Sherlock Holmes, even wrote a famous short story loosely based on the incident, which ironically made the mystery even more famous and harder to separate from fiction. The Mary Celeste itself continued sailing under new ownership for another 12 years after the incident. It changed hands 17 times. No one seemed to want to keep it for long. In 1885, its final captain deliberately wrecked it on a reef in Haiti in an insurance fraud scheme. Even the ship's end was shrouded in scandal. As for the 10 people who vanished that November, their fate was never determined. Captain Briggs, his wife, his daughter, and the 7 crew members were never seen or heard from again. No bodies, no wreckage, no answers, just silence. The Mary Celeste remains one of the most studied and most debated maritime mysteries ever recorded. And what makes it truly haunting isn't just that 10 people vanished. It's that they vanished from a ship that was perfectly fine, that had food on the table, that had their children's toys in the cabin, that had everything they needed to survive. Something made 10 people, including a 2-year-old child, abandon safety for the open ocean. And whatever that something was, it was never found. If you found this story as fascinating as I did, subscribe to the channel, because we're just getting started. Every week, we dig into the stories that history tried to forget, the mysteries that were never solved, the secrets that were buried for centuries. Hit the bell so you don't miss the next one, because trust me, it gets darker from here.